short films have arguably the hardest job of any form of media within the entertainment world. Whereas feature films are tasked with telling complex, nuanced stories within the span of several hours by employing pacing and runtime length to great effect, short films have this exact same job, but with essentially a shorter deadline. You see, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences classifies a short film as any film that does not have a runtime longer than 40 minutes, which also includes credits. This means that short films have to do all the necessary and complex work that films do, but squeeze into a comparatively tiny product by comparison. And this often is a difficult task, especially when examining how these short films convey their stories and characters. You see, with feature-length films, we as audiences have time to acclimate to characters and to learn more about them, as well as the plot itself. Short films, by comparison, however, have only the first few minutes to grab the audience's attention. In that short time span, these films have to introduce their characters, establish their motives, and push the plot's events forward, all in a way that feels neither rushed nor drawn out. This is a task that is way harder than it sounds, and as a critic who has attended many film festivals over the years and sat through countless short film blocks featuring the work of up-and-coming artists and independent filmmakers, I've actually grown to love the short film genre and the content. But sometimes this exact problem rears its ugly head to unfortunate effect. No matter how great the content is within these films, there have been a few times where I've recognized that these short films struggle with this exact problem. And as a result, this has always been towards the back of my mind whenever I view a short film. I mean, I'm always excited to see what these talented filmmakers and artists have in store, but a part of myself always wonders and slightly worries about these first few minutes to a short film and whether it will be able to properly convey and establish everything it needs to in such a short amount of time. But there are times as well, however, when you watch a short film and you recognize within the first few minutes that you are in the hands of someone extremely talented, and you are enthralled into the setting and atmosphere of the project with ease. And this is exactly what happened to me as I sat down to watch the new animated short film, Snow Bear. Now, as someone who is unfamiliar with the short film going in, I didn't really know what to expect from this one. The still images provided for promotional purposes seemed fun enough, and researching the film itself, I was treated to a bare-bones premise about a lonely polar bear within the Arctic. But I never really got a sense of what the film was ultimately trying to achieve just from looking at it. As I pressed play on the film, I really don't know what I entirely expected, but what I got made all the difference. In short, Snow Bear is as revolutionary as short films come nowadays. Both in form and execution, in premise and practice, this project showcases a rare form of unbridled artistry and passion behind it that truly reminds me of not why I fell in love with just short films, but film and cinema itself in the first place. Within the first few minutes of the film, audiences are transported into a harsh and bleak tundra setting, with harsh ice formations showcasing jagged beauty amid stark white landscapes, while piercing snow covers nearly every square inch of this rugged terrain. Yet amid this bleak winter snowscape, we see a solitary figure move through this harsh landscape, a figure that blends into the setting and moves silently through his world. And this figure is a polar bear. Often depicted in many forms of media as brutal and violent creatures, we as audiences might expect such a figure to bring these similar traits to this film as well. Yet, there's something different about this character here. He glances around, unsure of his surroundings, as if searching for something that he knows that the audience cannot understand in the moment. The answer soon becomes apparent as we see the polar bear come across several animals in the tundra setting. However, instead of attacking like the predator we've been conditioned to believe in other forms of media, we see the polar bear showcase a different form of characterization. Instead of the need to kill, he's instilled with the need to connect. However, whether due to the harsh appearance or predatory bearings, all of these creatures leave him in his solitude again. Alone and with no semblance of connection, the polar bear once again stumbles his way through an isolated world that almost seems to shun him. That is until he stumbles across an oddly shaped snow pile that forms an idea in his head. Using his paws and some freestanding snow to fashion fake ears and a snout, and placing a small rock onto the front of his face, the polar bear has crafted a snowman bear, which allows the polar bear to feel a little bit less alone in this world. This is the premise for Snow Bear. In just 15 short minutes, audiences are placed directly into an unlikely friendship formed out of a need for connection and companionship, conveyed in such a vibrant and well-realized way. Part of the sheer magic of Snow Bear is derived from the art style that the film is portrayed in. Director and longtime Disney animator Aaron Blaise delivers a stunning hand-drawn animation style that feels fluid in movement and richly detailed in style. Harkening back to the old age of 2D Disney animation, the animation never feels stagnant or stale in quality, but rather ever evolving and moving as the film goes on. A personal touch that I absolutely loved is how we as audiences see the rough sketch marks underneath the solid character designs, adding such a wild quality to these beautiful animals, and also reminding audiences of the amount of hard work and love for the art form that went into this project. I mean, this legitimately feels like a project made by people who have a profound love and appreciation for the art form of cinema itself, and it is showcased in every gorgeous second of this short's runtime. Amid the animation, the music score by Mark Mancina and Marlon Espino stands out as quite extraordinary. The music here almost becomes a character within the film itself, drawing audiences in and landing a definitive impact amid the movie's most heartfelt and tender moments. And the world building and character designs are also interesting and visually appealing. The design work really just catches catches your eye from the get-go, and the amount of hidden detail inside of each frame of the short film is extraordinary. I mean, it really fills you with a sense of love and appreciation for everything the filmmakers have done and achieved here. However, amid all the technical and cinematic achievements that Snow Bear manages to reach, there is perhaps one specific core truth to this short film that makes it stand apart at the end of the day. After seeing the film, I was in deep thought, trying to contemplate and digest everything I had just seen. And in the process of contemplating this film, I stumbled upon the emotional truth that perhaps remains its greatest achievement, and also helps it achieve true mastery within the short film medium. And that truth concerns the centralized relationship between the polar bear and his snowy creation. In any other film, a relationship between an animal and a pile of snow would not be treated with a serious tone. The subject matter itself seems ripe for comedic moments, and it feels like it would be approached with a surreal and often not serious tone. However, the reason why the relationship here works in this film is because it is treated with seriousness and respect it calls for. Any other film would approach a subject matter with a juvenile mindset, trying to pack in as many jokes or moments of lighthearted comedy as it could. And while Snow Bear does contain these moments of comedy scattered throughout for sure, the real truth and heart of this is that it approaches the centralized friendship from a grounded mindset. We as audiences see this flourishing one-sided relationship between a creature destined for any semblance of connection, and we relate to how real and vulnerable it ends up being portrayed as. And in this way, the centralized relationship makes up the bulk of the main thematic depth of the film, which is the thought-provoking and quite effective message about the need for connection and friendship we all yearn for at some moment in our lives, and about how we can fill that void in the most unlikely of places. Stumbling through life, we all face our own trials and shortcomings, and it often seems that there's no light at the end of the tunnel for us often. However, when we walk through life with the people we love and care for, it changes our perception of everything around us, and helps us keep sight on the things that truly matter to us. And this is precisely what a film like Snow Bear understands and most importantly, conveys. Filmmaker Aaron Blaise states that he spent over 3 years crafting this film out of his own personal studio, and this work ethic easily pays off in spades with this film. I mean, this is a truly special project in every sense of the word. It's the rare cinematic experience that comes along and truly astonishes you in every sense of the word. Watching the film, I was overcome with the genuine love, passion, and heart that was poured into every single second of this film, and it deserves to be shared with so many audiences. If this film is playing at a film festival anywhere near you, go seek it out and support it 100%. As this is an independent project, it needs all the personal love and support it can get so that audiences everywhere can partake in the emotional and layered experience that is Snow Bear. That's why I'm giving Snow Bear a 5 out of 5 stars. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this review on my channel. If you're new around here and you like the content you see, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below, like the video, and turn on push notifications. Also, leave comment suggestions down below for future video, essay, and review topics. With that being said, until next time, this is Mitchell signing off. Peace out.